My name is Sky. I am from Tulpa.info. I used to administrate the chat for several years. I left for a couple years and Winter came back recently. Winter is my Tulpa. A friend asked me whether or not tulpas were real, and apparently I was a decent source of information in figuring out whether something is accurate. So I looked them up, and I found tulpa.info. I thought that maybe they were possible, but I was still fairly skeptical of the concept, as it does admittedly seem extremely just odd at first glance, but after reading through it, I thought, okay, there's nothing that's directly contradicting reality, unlike some other claims similar to this. So I looked further.
I've noticed that there's been at least 2 other people that found it the same way, so my first exposure to this was actually through a creepypasta, and I got all curious, especially back then because I was curious as to how the mind works.
It was about 6 to 7 years ago, about 2010, 2011, don't know exactly when, because it was by accident. I was role-playing on another site with some friends at the time, and basically the way that a tulpa is developed by giving them experience, speaking to them, treating them as if they are real, and that's what I was doing with one of my characters in the roleplay. I was treating them as if it was a real person.
What is it like to have a tulpa? The answer would be... damn. It depends. It's another person. What's it like to be around a person? It's a little odd. I know, it's kind of ironic. How is it different from being around a person? And honestly, the differences are that you share a much closer, intimate relationship, usually. There are some exceptions, and different tulpas, compared to the host, will have different, how do I put it, different connectiveness with the host, so it kind of varies from person to person. But overall, it's extremely difficult to lie to each other, to hide things from each other, if even at all possible. In our case, I don't think it is. And to be quite frank, from personal experience, it's been a wonderful thing because she's basically pointed out a lot of flaws that I've had that I've been lying to myself about. And to be quite frank, I've been grateful for it.
Winter is very developed. We can do just about everything. For instance, she can switch, she can use the body just as much as I can.
And this whole thing relates to a psychological disorder that they call, dissociative identity disorder, I think, DID. But the thing that separates disorders from what we consider this is that a disorder is just basically something that prevents you from being able to function.
She's perfectly capable of speaking on her own, she's perfectly capable of thinking on her own, all of that. She's very developed. Other tulpas, maybe not so much. It is very anxiety-inducing to tell somebody in real life about her who doesn't already know, because it's strange, and a lot of people could misinterpret. Some people are more accepting than others. Some people would treat her as some kind of magical entity when she isn't one.
My host and a lot of people get into this thinking that it'll help them in some way, and honestly, if they're a caring person and they're patient with this, it honestly does solve more problems than it causes, at least from what we've seen.
People who think that it's just a way to just a way to be a special snowflake, or to create, or to interact with characters that they wish were real. It's unfortunate. I really wish that people who are genuinely representative of what tulpas are, of the tulpas that are just people, that are just trying to live, that aren't trying to be anything magical or special, that are just being themselves, living their lives, and this is just another part of daily life for them, which it's just another part of daily life for me and Winter. We both exist. That's it. I don't need to brag about it, don't need to tell other people, don't need to tell other people about it unless I trust them, and then they can interact and be kind to each other. And that's it. I want people to understand what tulpas actually are and what they should be. Just people who live and exist.